Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Now before we get started with the recipe, I just wanted to wish everyone a happy, blessed and prosperous new year. I also wanted to say thank you all for your continued support. It truly means a lot. And let's get started. So today I will be sharing a recipe for Guyanese style cook-up rice. Now this is a tradition on New Year's Eve. Now we would say Old Year's Day or Old Year's Night, but yeah, it's a tradition. We always have to cook our pot of cook-up rice, and it breaks you into the new year with your pot of food and your drink and whatever. So to get started, I have some peas and mixed meat that I will be using. Now feel free to use just one meat if you like and one peas, but I will be using 3 peas and some mixed meat. I will show you the meats and how I prepped it in just a moment. I have some black eyed peas already soaked overnight. I have pigeon peas, red peas, and I have some fresh coconut milk. I also have some okra, as well as, my seasonings that I'll be using. I will be using some seasoned salt, complete seasoning, chicken bouillon, some cook-up seasoning, and some black pepper. This is the cook-up seasoning that I'll be using. This is what it looks like. It's by Chiefs. And if you don't have this, feel free to use whatever you have on hand. Use your favorite seasonings. I also have some parboiled rice. I like using parboiled rice or brown rice for cook-up because it holds up better against all those meats and peas. White rice is very fragile and I don't like using white rice for cook-up. Here I have my fresh herbs and aromatics. I'll be using some basil, parsley, green onions, thyme. I have garlic, onions, bell peppers, some habanero, and scotch bonnet. So here's how I prepped and seasoned my meat. First, the meats that I'll be using today are chicken foot, tripe, pigtail, some beef shank, and some corned beef brisket. I mentioned this before in a previous cook-up video that I always use corned beef brisket as a substitute for salted beef, because here in the US, I don't get the salt beef that we get back in Guyana. So corned beef brisket is a great substitute. And here I have some fresh green seasoning, some homemade burnt sugar, and I was to make a video on this, but I forgot because I didn't want to make the video super long. So that's the homemade burnt sugar, and I have some bouillon, paprika, seasoned salt, complete seasoning, all-purpose, and black pepper. Now what you want to do is just combine all of your seasonings, and then we will just add it to the meat along with our green seasoning and our burnt sugar for that color and brightness. Then we will mix well, and we'll cover and place this in a refrigerator overnight. I always like to prep my stuff ahead of time because it saves time when you're actually about to cook it. And I hate confusion in the kitchen, so I usually prep my stuff to make things way easier and make things run smooth when I'm about to cook. So I did some fresh coconut milk because on Old Year's Day you want that elite cook-up rice. So here I have a large coconut, and I prepped this the night before. I deshelled the coconut and removed the coconut from the shell, chopped it real fine, placed it into my blender with water, and you just blend. And then I added more water, squeeze all that milk out, and I had some nice rich thick coconut milk. Now if you want to use more coconut because you're making a bigger batch of cook up, you can feel free to do that, but I will place this in my fridge overnight. I also went ahead and soaked my peas the night before because it's better. It takes less time to cook the next day. So here I will be using some, like I said, black eye, red peas, and pigeon peas, but feel free to use just one peas if you prefer. You know, you want to go through the peas, make sure there's no bricks and stones in there, and make sure that the peas are intact. And then we'll give it a good wash and place some water into the bowl and allow it to soak overnight. Tomorrow I'll show you guys the next step. So fast forward to the next day, we'll begin by boiling our peas. So what I like to do is add some water to my pot, and I like to start with my red peas first because the red peas, in my opinion, takes the longest to cook. So I like to start that off for about 15 minutes, and then I go ahead and add my black eyed peas. Now you don't want to boil all of the peas together at once because they all take different time to cook, and you don't want some of your peas to be hard and some to be soft, or trying to make all of them the same and then it becomes mushy. So once we give that black eyed peas 10 minutes, we'll go ahead and just add our pigeon peas after 10 minutes and allow all of the peas to cook together until they are nice and tender. The next thing we'll do is go ahead and pressure our meats, starting with the tripe because that takes the longest. I like to add the tripe, then add some water and allow that to go for about 15 to 20 minutes. Then I proceed to add my corned beef brisket and my beef shank. We will cook that for about 10 minutes and then we'll add our chicken foot and pigtail. We'll allow those to go for about 10 minutes as well, and then we will start the official cooking process. And please be reminded that the cooking time may vary depending on your appliances. Get to know your appliances so you'll know if you need more or less time. Okay? You don't want to cook your meat too soft because it will continue cooking in your actual cook-up rice. Now to a preheated pot, I did add some oil and we'll go in with our aromatics and our herbs. We'll mix well and allow it to go for about 3 to 4 minutes. Next, you want to add your washed rice. Make sure you wash the rice thoroughly before adding it in. Then we'll go in with our peas and we'll add our meats as well. We'll give them a good mix and allow them to go for about 3 minutes. So at this point, we will now add our coconut milk. I don't like to use water in my cook-up rice, so I use my coconut milk. I add some of the beef broth, the broth that we cook the meats in, and I add some of the peas broth. So make sure you save that. If you want to do it that way as well, you could always add more coconut milk or you can add water. So you want to give that a good stir, and then we'll add our seasonings to flavor this up. Make sure you taste and adjust the seasoning to suit your own liking. Then we'll add a tad bit of brown sugar. I like to add brown sugar to balance all the flavors out. And then we will add our peppers and our thyme. We'll cover this and allow it to simmer on medium to low heat until the rice is nice and tender. So once your cook-up rice is almost done, you will now go in with the okra. This is optional. If you don't want to add okra, feel free to omit it, but you will add it in the last 5 minutes. We'll cover it and allow it to steam. You don't want the okra to become mushy. So we'll let it steam. By then our rice will dry down some more. And yeah, this is basically how I make my cook-up rice. Now you don't want your cook-up to dry down completely because once this cools down, it will dry even more, and you don't want a dry cook-up rice. I don't really know anybody that like dry cook-up rice, but if you like that, you could feel free to dry it down some more. But this is it. We will garnish with some fresh green onions and parsley, and yeah, we can get ready to plate up. So I did play this up with some potato salad, a fresh garden salad, and some fried ripe plantains. It was absolutely amazing, very flavorful, and divine. I hope you all give this recipe a try. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and leave a comment down below. I will leave all the ingredients and measurements that I use down in the description box, and I'll see you all next time. Have a happy new year. Thank you for watching. Appreciate your support and enjoy.